What it do, YouTube? I'm Ken Buckets3, back with another video, and today I'm going to be speaking on my personal predictions on the Eastern Conference Semifinals series between the Raptors and the Celtics. If you like basketball content, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and with that, let's hop into my Eastern Conference Semifinal predictions. Just a quick note, this was recorded before Game 1. The footage might be from Game 1, but this video was recorded before Game 1, and my prediction at the end of the video still stands. So, for this analysis, we will be looking at the Raptors vs Celtics series. Both teams are really good and are both really well-coached teams. The Celtics are coached by Brad Stevens, and the Raptors are being coached by Coach of the Year Nick Nurse. One thing I expect to see from both coaches this series are lots of adjustments. As we have seen before, they are not afraid to make changes to their game plans or their lineups and rotations. So I expect this series to be a free-flowing, multi-dimensional chess game. So, we've looked at the coaches, now let's look at the Celtics. The Celtics are led by the budding Jason Tatum, and oh boy has his play over these past couple of months, post-All-Star break, have confirmed that he is the potential to be the best player on a championship team. He has just been unreal on a whole nother level. He is making the jump to superstar. Outside of him though, the Celtics have great players as second options with Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker, who have both been playing really well outside of their first round series. In addition, I want to note this is Kemba's first real playoff test. I don't really consider his years with the Hornets as true playoff basketball. He did carry those teams to the 8th seed, but after that he would really just get swept by the 1st seed. And then finally, outside of that, the Celtics have some good role players in Daniel Tice, Marcus Smart, and even some decent depth in Enes Kanter and Grant Williams. Some good players there. One enormous talking point that we should look at is Gordon Hayward being out. The stats won't show it, but he was a really important piece for these Celtics, and this now might force Marcus Smart to be in the lineup. And while Marcus Smart provides better defense, he's not as good of a scorer as Gordon Hayward. So that is something to look at. It'll be interesting to see how the Celtics offense fares with no Gordon Hayward. In addition, with Hayward being out, this forces the relatively even Celtics attack to lean heavier on Tatum, Walker, and Brown. We're going to need to see them step up against the Raptors. In addition, about Kemba, like I said, this is his first real playoff test, and an interesting matchup to look at is the Kemba Walker versus Kyle Lowry matchup. Lowry is a great defensive point guard and just a great point guard in general, and Kemba's going to need to be able to attack a lot and create his own shot throughout the series. Like I said, it's going to be a real test for Kemba. Even though the defense will hone in on Tatum, Kemba's ability to score and facilitate will need to be top-notch this series. And my final talking point about the Celtics is the Jason Tatum versus OG Anunoby matchup. As we've seen this season, Tatum's ability to shot create is already top-notch, but he's going to be facing a tough test in OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby is a long, physical defender, and he already has great defensive instincts for his age. Just to put it bluntly, OG can put clamps on a lot of players, so how Tatum will respond and how he'll play his game will be interesting to watch. So, to wrap up, these Celtics have a lot of good individual shot creators. However, with Hayward being out, their depth takes a blow, as Smart now is moved to the starting point guard position. So, that will be something to look at. But, don't get it twisted, these Celtics are a very good team. So, with the Celtics done, let's move on to the Raptors. The Raptors have great depth, and that's something I love about them. With players like Powell and Ibaka being able to come off the bench and provide a different dimension to the Raptors' attack and defense, I see that as a major plus for the Raptors. Something to worry about, though, is the play of Siakam. Siakam's play has been less than stellar recently, and it has me worried if he can guide his team into half-court warfare. In addition, the Raptors' half-court offense has just worried me in general. However, more on Siakam. Siakam's play recently has not been convincing. If Siakam is going to be the best player on this team, he needs to start showing it. Otherwise, the Raptors will not stand a chance against the Celtics, or against any other team. An interesting tidbit I noticed is about the Raptors' transition offense. Their transition offense has ranked highly throughout the season, but as we move deeper into the playoffs, the game becomes much more half-court and a lot less transition. So how the Raptors adapt to less transition offense is going to be very important. In addition, the Celtics' perimeter defense is stout, well-coached, and switchable. So the Raptors will need to be able to create their own shot, but need to be able to create shots for others as well. Lowry, you need to be on your A game. Finally, my final talking point on the Raptors is how they will stop the scorching hot Jason Tatum. I have full faith that Stevens will try and match Tatum up against one of the smaller Raptors players like Van Fleet, whom he can get a shot off over. When Tatum gets hot, he gets scorching hot, so Stevens is going to look to get him going early. Just putting OG on Tatum might not be enough, so Nurse is most likely going to have to implement several different coverages and traps for Tatum so that he avoids getting scorching hot. Something that shouldn't be overlooked is Nick Nurse though. Nick Nurse has guided his team to a championship before and is experienced in multiple different leagues and countries. He has shown before that he is already a top quality coach. But against Stevens and this fantastic Celtics teams, this is going to be a big test for him, one that he hopes to ace. So that wrapped up the Raptors review, and let's get into my prediction. So, who will win? Honestly, these are two evenly matched teams with great coaches who know what they are doing. While the Raptors edge the Celtics out in depth and have championship DNA, meaning they won't just roll over and die, but they'll play to the bitter end, I feel the Celtics have a bit more star power and individual shot creation. So, my prediction is Raptors in 7. The Celtics losing Hayward and having only alright depth isn't enough to beat the Raptors. I feel that the Raptors have the depth and the championship DNA to barely edge out the Celtics in what looks to be a tight contest. And so with my prediction, the Raptors in 7, that does conclude this video. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, drop a like on it, helps the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more NBA content, and I'll catch you in a bit.